The Bible emphasizes compassion, justice, and generosity towards the poor, the needy, and the vulnerable. This dictates how Christians are called to treat the homeless. In Deuteronomy 10:18, he defends the cause of the fatherless and the widow and loves the alien, giving him food and clothing. This shows God's special concern for those who are marginalized and lacking resources. In Proverbs 14:31, whoever oppresses the poor shows contempt for their maker, but whoever is kind to the needy honors God. This verse links how one treats the poor directly to their reverence for God. In Psalm 6:5, Father of orphans and protector of widows is God in his holy habitation. This highlights God's role as a provider and defender of the vulnerable. In both Leviticus 19:9-10 and Deuteronomy 24:19-21, landowners were commanded to leave portions of their harvest for the poor and foreigners to gather, ensuring they had access to food. Faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. Faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. Faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. And don't forget about debt forgiveness. For in Leviticus 25 and Deuteronomy 15, laws like the Jubilee year provided relief for the poor, preventing perpetual poverty. In Deuteronomy 15:7-11, if there is a poor man among your brothers in any of the towns of the land that the Lord your God is giving you, do not be hard-hearted or tight-fisted toward your poor brother. There will always be poor people in the land. Therefore, I command you to be open-handed toward your brothers and toward the poor and needy in your land. Jesus frequently emphasized the commandment to love your neighbor as yourself, which extends to everyone, including those in need. The parable of the Good Samaritan. This parable in Luke 10:25-37 illustrates the importance of showing compassion and practical help to anyone in need, regardless of their background or social status. In Matthew 25:35-40, known as the least of these Bible passages, Jesus says, "For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." This passage strongly links caring for the vulnerable to caring for Jesus himself, implying that such actions are a fundamental aspect of faith. In Luke 12:33 and Matthew 19:21, Jesus encourages followers to give to the poor, even suggesting that selling possessions and given to the needy would result in treasure in heaven. In Acts 2, 44, 45, Acts 4, 32, 35. The early church in Acts practiced communal sharing of resources to ensure no one among them suffered from need. Faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. Faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. Faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. The New Testament repeatedly calls for hospitality, especially to strangers. As in Romans 12:13, Hebrews 13:2 even suggests that in showing hospitality, some have entertained angels without knowing it. James 2:17 directly addressing inadequacy of merely wishing someone well without providing practical help. If a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, and one of you says to them, "Go in peace, be warmed and filled," without giving them the things needed for the body, what good is that? So also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. The Bible teaches that treating the homeless and the poor in general is not merely an act of charity, but a fundamental expression of faith and love for God. The biblical message is clear. True faith is demonstrated through active care for the least of these. So, you should willingly share in resources and time to alleviate suffering.